Hi everyone, this is the May CS and PM field sync, and a lot of us are just getting back from an offsite, so kind of catching our breath and um, wanted to have this meeting so that way we can keep the cadence, but also we'll have more updates probably shortly. The first one that I have is validity checks are now available behind a feature flag. These are only on vulnerability records um, for now, and so it's an experiment, and we'll be adding um, the ability to opt into this feature and adding things to the vulnerability report, the merge request modal, things like that for GA. And that is planned for Q3. But just a peek, I actually don't have a good um, test project, but just so you get an idea of what that looks like, you will see on secrets, you will see this validity check. And when it'll check it when the last pipeline ran for any GitLab related secret. And it'll tell you whether it's active, inactive, or possibly active if we made the request several times and couldn't quite reach it. So um, that is starting to pop in and will hopefully help users eventually more quickly triage um, their different vulnerabilities. So if there's not any questions about that, Connor, it looks like you have the next one.
I have a question because I forgot the answer.
Okay,
Which validity checks are you starting with?
we are starting with GitLab tokens and GitLab type secrets, and then for GA, we will have, I believe it's GCP and AWS. Um,
Yeah, because those are the ones that have a response, but not Postman, because Postman's not like not,
oh,
not as
I
impactful
didn't catch
as in.
I didn't catch what you just said. Sorry, what?
I was saying, oh right, you're reminding me because for Google Cloud and AWS we have the auto response
Yep.
integration, but then we also have it for Postman, but Postman's not nearly as important in that
Right,
regard.
right. Yeah, those cloud providers are ones that we wanted to address in GA.
I promise that wasn't a planted question, but if anyone does have questions about the future, I'll pause for 5 seconds. Okay. Um, the next one I was going to cast the net out for customers who are both one, willing to test VGA SaaS releases, and two, that use C++. I guess I messed up the grammar there. If you have customers that are like that, please let me know. We're trying to figure out how we can do earlier validation of the particular solution we're developing. Um, but the sort of cooperative slash like you're willing to test a thing and it's not going to be a high stakes we have egg on our face if it looks bad kind of customer. That's the thing that I could really use some help finding.
Hey, Connor, on that one,
Yes.
is there any additional information we could share about what's being tested? For example, if it's interprocedural SAST.
We could it's so just to orient you, it's not. If you look at the C++ landscape, there's people that use C++ among many other languages and don't have like safety critical considerations. That's the target for this. We're not doing like Misra, not AutoSAR, not that kind of thing, not the super deep stuff yet. I do believe some of it is interprocedural. It's a slightly different, and it is a different engine than we use for the other languages for technical reasons. So I have to double check on some of the details. It sounds like you might have some candidates, but you would want to like have a question that you could pass around. Is that what I'm getting?
Um, Kind of two things. So one of
Mm-hmm.
them hit square on the head, right? Just if there's anything we can share, both for our team's sake and our customer sake, as far as what's being tested.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's some movement there, which is completely okay. And I understand the use cases, so I'm actually personally happy that we're not testing those particular cases, stuff like these
Mm-hmm.
STIGs, MISRA, all of that jazz. The other question was just perhaps a one-liner that gives the rough bounds of what's being tested that we can share with folks. Because one of the first questions I anticipate is, that sounds interesting. Can you give me an idea of, the benefit to us of the thing that we're testing? That's all. It's okay to be a little bit vague about it since it's early on, but if there is something we can share, it'd be helpful.
Okay, I can definitely get that. My understanding is that right now the thing we want to double check is kind of how this would get integrated into C++ builds, because C++ builds are so different from many other kinds of, the Go build is way simpler than your CMake, your whatever. It's been too long since I built a C++ project myself, but my understanding is we want to get that kind of like integration fit. Like, is it feasible to do it this way? That kind of validation, less like CVE coverage or whatever. Although we'd welcome that input too.
Sorry for on the video. I feel kind of rude without it
All
on. Yeah, okay, that's definitely helpful, Connor. C++ is the only language that I've ever written like production code for. So,
amazing.
um,
Maybe we
and
should look at it with you, honestly.
no, it sounds like we want to test out the mechanics, right? How do we capture the build? Can I ask one last question? And if you answer, like we're
Yeah.
not sure, that's completely cool. Do we care if it's desktop versus, for example, cross-compiled, like embedded target? And are there types of targets we're interested in, like more embedded Linux, more embedded Android, Yocto project? Some boundaries would be helpful, because otherwise my brain gets kind of no boundaries.
Yeah, all the possibilities. I think I think we would welcome any of them. I'm not sure if there's a particular like a particular sweet spot, because we're basically trying to back to that kind of sort of, I call them polyglots, like people that use lots of languages, and then C++ is one of them. It's not their focus of their entire business. They need some coverage, but they're not they're not a company that's sitting there just primarily making hardware or something. That's kind of like the market segment we're trying to be sure we can cover. I don't think it matters what exact kind of target, but I think the right answer will be for you, for me to connect you with my Edge team, if that's agreeable, and we can hash out what the details are. That's not decent.
Yeah, and one last one, I promise. Can I
Yeah,
look, there's a silent C language in it along with C++.
I believe, yeah. So I've been just saying C++ because it's faster than saying C and or C++. But I believe that it does implicitly come in, because most of the or a lot of the complexities that come into this language ecosystem is when they get mixed, and when there's like macros and all the kinds of various surprise Turing complete or near Turing complete things that pop up along your way to your source code. And their particular, like some of the technologies we use, they have a different abstraction around source code. So that long answer, but yes, I believe we're doing all the C stuff, and then C++ is where the more of the components.
Cool. Thank you. That's my 20 questions.
You're awesome, man. Thanks for the engagement. Guess we could do that in SME channel or something. Or would you rather meet? We can DM about this too.
Whatever format is suitable and works for you, Connor. We're good.
Perfect. Alrighty.
Alrighty, I think that might be it for the product update
Alana,
section.
John, I was just gonna ask if you had. We're doing the same thing. I was gonna ask if you had any more product updates.
I think that's it for now.